Okay, so you know how mainstream dating apps sometimes feel like you're just swiping through a sea of faces,
Right.
and it's all quantity over quality?
Yeah.
Well, today we're diving deep into something kind of different, a breath of fresh air, you could say.
Okay.
Niche dating apps.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so think of apps specifically designed for, let's say, vegans
Uh-huh.
or farmers
Okay.
or even people who love to knit, you
Oh,
know.
wow.
Find that special, someone who really gets your obsession with alpaca yarn.
Yeah, that's really smart, actually.
Right. And you know what's fascinating?
What?
I was reading some research, and it turns out that user engagement is like 30% higher on these niche platforms compared to those big mainstream giants.
Oh, wow. That's significant.
It is, right? And it makes sense because it's all about connecting with people who share your passions right off the bat.
Totally.
So less time swiping, more time actually connecting.
I like it.
So we've got a ton of research articles all about how these niche dating apps actually work. And we're going to break it all down for you,
Awesome.
from the business model to the must-have features and everything in between.
Sounds good.
So let's start with the why behind these niche platforms.
Okay.
What's the appeal? Why are they gaining so much traction?
Well, I think they really capitalize on some of the limitations of those mainstream apps.
Okay. How so?
Instead of just matching based on, like, a few photos and a short bio,
Right.
these niche platforms prioritize shared values, hobbies, even lifestyles.
It's kind of like
Yeah.
instead of browsing through a crowded department store,
Uh-huh.
you're walking into a boutique that caters to your specific taste.
Yes, exactly. You're more likely to find something that you truly love, or in this case, someone you truly connect with.
And that translates to better matchmaking, higher chances of compatibility.
Exactly. It's not about just finding any date. It's about finding the right date.
And one article I read mentioned a dating app specifically for dog lovers.
Oh, wow.
And get this, even their matching algorithm considers breed compatibility.
Oh, that's interesting.
Right. Like, can you imagine a Chihuahua owner being set up with someone who has 5 huskies?
That's a recipe for disaster.
Total chaos at the dog park.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's say you're inspired and thinking of building your own niche dating app.
Okay.
What are some of the must-have features?
Well, first and foremost, you need killer user profiles.
Okay, so not just your basic age location photo.
No. We're talking detailed profiles that really highlight those passions and quirks that make users unique within that specific community.
So for our outdoor enthusiast friends, maybe their favorite hiking trails,
Exactly.
or for the cheese lovers out there,
Uh-huh.
their ultimate cheese board creation.
You got it. It's all about painting that vivid picture of who they are within the context of that niche.
Okay, so we've got the profiles. What else?
Then you need a matching algorithm that truly understands these nuances.
Okay, so it's not just matching based on like basic demographics.
No, it's got to be more sophisticated than that. Think of it as a digital matchmaker who speaks fluent niche.
I like that. And of course, we can't forget about communication.
Right.
It's not just about basic messaging anymore.
No, definitely not. I was reading a study that highlighted the power of more interactive features like video calls or voice notes. Even those icebreaker questions can be really helpful.
Yeah, those icebreakers are great. They
Yeah.
help people get past those initial awkward first interactions.
Totally. Imagine like an app for coffee lovers,
Yeah.
right? And the prompt is, what's your go-to coffee order?
Oh, I like that.
It's fun, it's relevant, it sparks conversation.
It's like a virtual coffee date before the actual coffee date.
Exactly.
So we've got the profiles, we've got the matching, we've got the communication.
Yeah.
But now let's talk about the actual building of this thing.
Okay.
Because we know all these features don't come cheap.
You're right about that. Building a niche dating app does require a considerable investment.
So let's break it down.
All right. So first we have the MVP, the minimum viable product.
Mm.
That's essentially your app's bare bones version, just enough to attract those early users and get some feedback.
So like a sneak peek before the grand opening.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And building that MVP can cost anywhere between $20,000 to $50,000.
Okay.
Now, if you want to go all out, with AI-powered matching, top-notch security, all the bells and whistles,
Yeah.
you're looking at more like $100,000 to $300,000.
Whoa, okay. That's a serious chunk of change.
It is, but there are ways to strategize.
Yeah.
Partnering with the right development teams, prioritizing certain features.
Right.
Those can be real game changers when it comes to managing costs.
Okay, so smart planning is key.
Absolutely. And don't forget, you have ongoing costs too, like server fees,
Oh, right.
which can range from like $500 to $2,000 a month,
Okay.
plus maintenance, which can add another, $10,000 to $50,000 annually?
So you've poured your heart and soul and probably a lot of money into building this app.
Yeah.
Now the question is, how do you actually make it rain?
Okay.
How do these apps generate revenue?
Well, there are actually quite a few avenues for monetization.
Okay, lay it on me.
The most popular one is probably the subscription model.
Okay, yeah.
You offer a basic free version with limited perks,
Right.
and then you have premium subscriptions that unlock the good stuff.
Okay, so unlimited swipes, advanced filters, all that jazz.
Exactly. It's that classic freemium strategy we see everywhere. Give them a taste, and then make them an offer they can't refuse.
I see. But what about those users who want to stay free, but maybe they need a little boost?
Ah, well, that's where those in-app purchases come in handy.
Okay.
Think like boosts to increase profile visibility or those super likes.
Oh, yeah.
Little psychological nudges that can be incredibly effective.
Of course, we can't forget about good old-fashioned advertising.
Right.
But one report I read really emphasized the need for strategic partnerships,
Yeah.
like aligning with brands that actually resonate with your niche.
Absolutely. You don't want to just bombard users with ads for products they'd never consider.
Keep you relevant, right?
Exactly. And here's one that often gets overlooked: affiliate marketing.
Oh, interesting. Tell me more.
Imagine collaborating with like dating coaches, relationship experts, even event organizers.
Okay.
You're essentially creating an ecosystem around that dating experience.
So it's more than just an app. It becomes like a hub for
Exactly.
everything related to that niche.
Exactly.
Maybe I like that.
And let's not forget about events and memberships,
That's right.
whether it's virtual meetups, exclusive in-app communities.
Yeah.
It's all about cultivating that sense of belonging,
Community.
shared experience.
So it's more than just an app. It's like a community.
Yeah.
A lifestyle, maybe even a movement.
I like that.
But let's be real here. Even with the perfect features and the best monetization plan,
Yeah.
getting people to actually use your app,
Right.
that's a whole other challenge.
It is a challenge, absolutely. Marketing for these niche dating apps, it's all about precision.
Okay.
Forget those broad generic campaigns. We got to get laser focused.
So no more cheesy billboards.
Well, maybe not all billboards, but the focus should really be on targeting that specific audience.
Right.
Think like social media influencers who really resonate with your niche.
Okay.
So a vegan dating app could partner with a popular vegan food blogger.
Right.
Or a fitness app could collaborate with a fitness influencer.
It's all about that authentic reach, right?
Exactly. Reaching people who are genuinely interested in what your app has to offer.
Okay, I'm with you.
And then there's content marketing,
Oh,
create blog posts, guides, infographics,
Mhm.
all tailored to your specific niche.
so like a dating app for gamers
Yeah,
could have articles on like balancing relationships in gaming.
exactly.
Right.
Super specific, but actually helpful.
I like it.
And while we're talking specifics, SEO is crucial.
Right.
You want to be discoverable, right?
Of course. Optimize your website, your app store listing.
Yeah.
Make sure those keywords are working for you.
So it's all about showing up in the right places at the right time.
You got it. But even if you nail all of that.
Never underestimate the power of good old-fashioned word of mouth.
Oh, yeah.
Referral programs, they're incredibly effective.
Right.
Give your users a reason to spread the word.
Okay. So incentives like free premium features for every successful referral.
Exactly. Turn your users into your biggest advocates.
Smart. Now, what about paid advertising?
Hmm?
Is there still a place for that in the niche world?
Definitely. Platforms like Google Ads and Facebook Ads, they're still powerful tools.
Okay.
But again, it's all about targeting.
Right.
We're not just throwing darts in the dark.
Yeah.
We're using data to reach people who've shown interest in your niche or similar apps.
Makes sense.
And those retargeting campaigns,
Oh, yeah.
those can be real game changers.
Remind me what retargeting is again.
Sure. It's basically like a gentle nudge
Yeah.
to remind people who have already shown interest in your app, hey, remember us. We're still here and we're awesome.
Exactly. And finally, we can't forget about good old-fashioned PR, getting featured in those relevant publications.
Yes, absolutely. Online magazines, dating blogs, niche-specific outlets,
Mm-hmm.
that can really boost your credibility.
So marketing a niche dating app, it sounds like it takes a lot of precision,
It does.
authenticity, and a good dose of hustle.
You got it. It's about connecting with the right people in the right way
Yeah.
and showing them how your app can help them find what they're truly looking for.
I'm with you. Okay, so we've talked about the why, the features, the
Mhm,
costs,
mhm.
even touched on marketing.
Right.
But building a successful app,
Yeah,
it's not all smooth sailing.
definitely not.
What are some of the icebergs that developers need to watch out for?
Well, one of the biggest challenges is user acquisition.
Okay.
Getting those initial users on board can be a real struggle.
Especially when you're a new player in a
Uh-huh.
field that's dominated by those big established apps.
Exactly. It's like trying to get noticed in a crowded marketplace where everyone is vying for attention.
So how do you stand out?
One strategy that's gaining traction is launching with a waitlist.
Oh, interesting.
You build anticipation, create a sense of exclusivity,
Yeah.
generate buzz before you even launch.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
It's like creating a VIP club before the doors even open.
Exactly.
But attracting users is only half the battle, right?
Right.
Keeping them engaged is a whole other beast.
Yes, retention is absolutely crucial.
What's the point of getting people to download the app if they just disappear after a week?
Exactly. You got to keep things interesting.
Yeah.
Regular updates, fresh content, new features.
Right.
Give them a reason to stick around.
So it's about creating an experience,
Yes,
not just an app.
precisely.
And then, of course, there's the ever-present challenge of competition.
Oh, yeah.
You're not just competing with other niche apps.
Right.
You're up against those mainstream platforms with massive resources.
Tough battle.
So how do you stand out in that crowd?
By clearly defining your niche and shouting your unique selling points from the rooftops.
What makes you special? What problem are you solving that no one else is?
Exactly. And then there's the issue of fraud and fake profiles.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
It's a problem that plagues the entire dating app industry.
Right.
But it can be especially damaging for those niche platforms built on trust and authenticity.
Because no one wants to waste their time with someone who's not who they say they are.
Right.
So what can be done about it?
Robust verification processes are key.
Okay.
Things like social media integration, identity checks, even video verification.
Yeah.
These can all help weed out the fakers.
So creating that safe and trustworthy environment.
Exactly. And, at the end of the day, while we're talking about all the business aspects,
Yeah.
we're ultimately dealing with human connections.
Right.
Building a successful niche dating app requires a balance
Okay.
of smart business strategies
Yeah.
and genuine empathy for your users.
So it's not just about algorithms and marketing budgets.
Mm.
It's about understanding people's needs and desires.
Yes.
Creating a platform that actually helps them connect.
Precisely. And that's what makes this space so fascinating and rewarding.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think we've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive.
We have.
We've explored the why, the how, and the what of these niche dating apps,
Yeah.
from their unique advantages to the challenges they face.
For sure.
But there's still so much more to uncover, right?
Absolutely.
In our next segment, we're going to delve into the psychology behind this whole niche dating phenomenon.
Okay.
Explore why people are really drawn to these specialized platforms.
Interesting.
What are they really looking for? Stay tuned because it's about to get even more interesting.
Looking forward to it.
All right, so welcome back to our deep dive into the world of niche dating apps.
It's good to be back.
We've already talked about, the business side of things,
Yeah.
the must-have features, even how much it costs to actually create these platforms.
Right.
But now I think it's time to shift gears a little bit and really explore the psychology behind this whole niche dating thing.
Interesting.
Like, why are people choosing these specialized apps
Right.
over those mainstream platforms?
Right.
Let's get inside the minds of the users here.
Okay.
What's the appeal?
Well, I think a big part of it is that these niche dating apps,
Yeah.
they tap into our fundamental human need for connection,
Mhm.
belonging.
Right.
We all crave that feeling of being understood,
Yeah.
of finding our tribe.
It's like walking into a room
Yeah,
and everyone just gets you.
exactly.
They speak your language. They
Yeah.
share your passions.
You instantly feel that sense of camaraderie, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
And that's what these apps offer right from the start.
Right.
You're connecting with people who already align with your values,
Yeah.
your hobbies.
It's like having that built-in foundation for a relationship.
Right. Imagine trying to explain your passion for, I don't know, repetitive knitting
Repetitive knitting.
to someone who's never even held a pair of needles.
Right.
It's so much easier to connect with someone who already gets it.
Absolutely. And it goes beyond just shared interests.
Oh.
There are also niche apps that cater to specific demographics or life stages.
Right.
Like, for example, there are dating apps specifically designed for single parents.
Oh, that's a good one.
Right. They understand those unique challenges and joys
Yeah.
of dating while raising children.
It's a space where they can connect without judgment.
Exactly.
Feel seen and understood for who they are and what they're going through.
Exactly. And it's not always about romance either.
Right.
Some of these platforms are actually geared towards building friendships or even professional connections.
So it's really expanding the whole concept of what a dating app can be.
Totally.
It's about finding your people,
Yeah,
whatever kind of connection you're seeking.
exactly. Now, another psychological factor at play here is the desire for efficiency
Okay.
and intentionality.
Right.
People are tired of endless swiping and those superficial matches.
Oh.
They want a more targeted approach.
It's like saying, okay, I'm done with the casual browsing. I know what I'm looking for, and I'm ready to find it.
Exactly. And niche dating apps cater to that mindset.
Yeah.
You're not just casting a wide net.
Right.
You're being specific about your desires and increasing your chances of finding a truly meaningful connection.
You're trading quantity for quality.
Exactly. You're focusing on a smaller pool of potential matches,
Yeah.
but they're more likely to be a good fit.
Makes sense. And that can be such a relief for people who are serious about finding a lasting relationship.
Absolutely. And then there's also this element of self-selection and validation.
Okay, break that down for me.
So by choosing to use a niche dating app,
Yeah.
you're kind of making a statement about yourself.
Yeah.
You're saying, this is important to me. This is part of who I am.
Right.
And when you find other people who share that passion or lifestyle,
Yeah.
it can be incredibly validating.
It's like finding your space where you feel celebrated for being your true self.
Exactly. It's about feeling seen, accepted, understood.
Right.
And that can be a powerful motivator for choosing a niche platform.
Okay, so niche dating apps seem to offer a lot of benefits.
They do.
But are there any potential downsides that we should be aware of?
Well, there are a few things to keep in mind.
Okay.
One concern is that, these apps could create echo chambers
Okay.
where users are only exposed to people who share their exact views.
Oh, if you're only interacting with people who agree with you all the time,
Right.
you might miss out on some valuable perspectives and growth opportunities.
Exactly. It's important for users to be aware of that potential pitfall
Yeah.
and to actively seek out diverse viewpoints.
Even within their own little niche communities.
Absolutely. So it's about finding that balance,
Yeah.
between finding your tribe
Right.
and challenging yourself to step outside your comfort zone.
Okay, good point. Any other potential downsides?
Well, another thing to consider is that these niche platforms, they could unintentionally create barriers for people who don't fit neatly into a specific niche.
So someone might identify with multiple niches,
Right?
or maybe they feel like they don't fully belong to any one group.
Exactly. So it's really crucial for developers to be mindful of inclusivity,
Hmm.
and to create platforms that welcome a wide range of users.
It's like finding that sweet spot
Yeah.
between being specific
Right.
and being open-hearted.
Absolutely. Now let's shift our focus for a second
Oh.
to the developers behind these apps.
Okay.
What are some of the biggest challenges they face
Yeah.
in creating these successful niche dating platforms?
Well, we know competition is fierce out there.
It is.
Thousands of dating apps, all vying for attention.
So many.
How do you stand out in such a crowded marketplace?
That's a great question. And I think one of the biggest hurdles
Yeah.
is clearly defining their niche
Okay.
and really differentiating their app from the competition.
So it's all about answering those questions like, what makes you unique? What
Yeah.
problem are you solving that no one else is?
Exactly. And then there's that challenge of user acquisition.
Oh, yeah. We talked about that earlier.
You did. It's worth emphasizing, though, because it's a big one.
It is.
Getting those first users on board, it can be a real uphill battle.
It's that classic chicken and egg scenario.
Right.
You need users to attract more users.
Yeah.
But how do you get those initial users in the door?
Targeted marketing is key.
Okay.
They really need to be strategic about reaching their ideal audience.
And partnerships, collaborations.
Absolutely.
We talked about affiliate marketing, working with influencers.
Those can be game changers,
Yeah,
especially for a new app.
right. And then, of course, you've got the challenge of user retention.
Oh, yeah. Huge.
It's one thing to get people to download the app,
Mm-hmm.
but it's another thing to keep them coming back for more.
You want them to stay engaged.
Right. You want to create an experience that keeps them invested in the platform.
Exactly. And that's where those features like personalized matching come in,
Yeah,
engaging content,
right.
a strong sense of community.
It's about creating an app that feels like more than just an app.
Exactly. It's a place where people can connect, share
Mhm.
their passions,
Mm.
and build meaningful relationships.
Okay, so we've talked about the user side of things.
Yeah.
But let's not forget about the financial side.
Right.
Developing and maintaining a dating app can be pretty expensive.
It can.
Finding the right monetization strategy
Mm-hmm.
is absolutely crucial.
It is. We've talked about the various options,
Right.
subscriptions,
In-app purchases.
advertising events, memberships.
Right. It's all about finding that balance.
It is.
You don't want to nickel and dime your users,
Yeah.
but you also need to keep the lights on.
You got to pay the bills, right?
Exactly. And in an industry as fast-paced as this one,
Oh, yeah.
developers need to be adaptable and innovative.
Absolutely, because this dating app landscape,
Yeah.
it's constantly evolving
It is new trends are emerging all the time.
all the time.
Developers have to be willing to experiment,
Mm-hmm.
to adapt to user feedback,
Right.
to constantly look for ways to improve their platforms.
It's a digital arms race out there.
It is.
But at the end of the day,
Yeah.
it's all about creating a product that people love
Right.
and that genuinely helps them find what they're looking for.
Okay, so we've talked about the psychology behind niche dating apps,
Yeah.
explored the challenges faced by developers.
Right.
But now I think it's time to look ahead.
Okay.
In our final segment, we're going to shift our focus to the future.
The future of dating.
What trends are on the horizon,
Yeah.
and what might the long-term impact of these platforms be? Stay tuned.
It's going to be good.
Welcome back to our deep dive all about niche dating apps.
It's great to be here.
We've covered so much ground already. The business side,
Yeah.
the psychology behind it all,
Mm-hmm.
even all the challenges that developers face.
Right.
But now it's time for the fun part.
Okay.
We're going to put on our futurist hats,
Okay.
look into our crystal ball, and see what the future holds
I love it.
for niche dating. So what's next? What's coming down the pipeline?
Well, the dating app world, it's always evolving.
Oh, yeah. Always changing.
And one trend that I'm really seeing is this rise of what we call hyper niche platforms.
Hyper niche. Okay, so we're talking even more specific
Maybe more specific.
than what we've already talked about.
Yeah, so beyond just like vegans or dog lovers.
Okay, give me an example.
All right, so imagine a dating app
Yeah,
specifically for people who collect vintage postcards.
vintage postcards. Okay.
Or people who exclusively listen to 80s synth pop.
Right. All right.
Or maybe people who are passionate about bonsai tree cultivation.
Wow. Okay, so we're talking like really, really niche.
Really neat.
But are there even enough people
Yeah.
in those super specific categories
Right.
to make a dating app viable?
You might be surprised.
Okay.
And remember, it's not just about romantic relationships anymore.
Right.
It's about finding those people
Yeah.
who truly understand your passion.
Your tribe.
Exactly, no matter how unique those passions might seem.
Okay, so the smaller the niche, the stronger the bond, potentially.
I think in many ways, yes.
Interesting. And how is technology adapting to all of this?
Well, technology is also evolving,
Uh.
to cater to all these very niche desires.
Mhm.
And I think AI and machine learning, they're going to play a huge role.
Okay, so we talked about algorithms before,
Right.
but are you saying AI is going to take it to a whole new level?
Oh, absolutely.
How so?
We're talking algorithms that can analyze not just your stated preferences,
Okay.
but also your behavior patterns, your communication style,
Wow.
even subtle cues like facial expressions during video chats.
So it's like having this digital matchmaker
Yeah.
who can basically read your mind.
Right. Or at least your subconscious desires.
Okay, that's both exciting and a little bit scary.
I know, right?
But what about the actual dating experience?
Yeah.
Are we going to be swiping on holograms anytime soon?
Well, we might be.
Okay.
The integration of VR and AR into these dating apps,
Yeah.
that's another really exciting trend.
Okay, so paint me a picture here.
Okay, so imagine going on like a virtual date
Yeah.
to a concert
Okay.
or a museum,
Uh-huh.
all from the comfort of your own home.
So you can really get a feel for someone's personality,
Yeah.
interests, without even having to leave the house.
Exactly. And that's a game changer,
Yeah, especially for people who get nervous about first dates.
Especially for introverts, absolutely.
And AR could enhance real-life dating, too.
Oh, for sure.
Like, imagine walking down the street
Yeah.
and your phone buzzes,
Yeah.
and it's like, hey, there's another user nearby who also loves antique bookshops.
Exactly. It's like a real life treasure hunt for love.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah,
So the future of dating apps sounds very high-tech.
it does.
But what about the human element?
Right.
We've talked about authenticity and safety.
Yeah.
Are those still going to be priorities?
Absolutely. In
Well, yeah,
fact,
okay.
I think there's a growing emphasis on creating these safer, more trustworthy dating environments.
Mm.
We're seeing these more robust verification processes,
Yeah.
things like social media integration, video verification. They're becoming much more common.
So it's getting harder for those catfish to slip through the cracks.
Exactly. And there's this growing movement, I think,
Yeah.
towards transparency and accountability in the industry as a whole.
Okay.
Users, they're demanding these safer platforms, and developers are listening.
Good. They should be listening.
They should be.
So big picture,
Yeah.
what kind of impact do you think these niche dating apps are going to have on society in the long run?
That's a really complex question.
It is, yeah.
But I think on one hand,
Yeah.
these platforms, they're providing more choices, more opportunities for connection
Right.
than ever before.
Yeah, you're not limited by geography or your social circles anymore.
Exactly. You can connect with people who share your passions no matter how niche they might be.
It's like creating this global village of shared interests,
I like that.
a place where everyone can find their tribe.
Exactly. But it's important to be mindful of the potential downsides, too.
Okay, like what?
Well, there's a risk of fragmentation,
Okay.
of people retreating into these little echo chambers
Yeah.
and losing the ability to connect with those who are different from them.
Right, it's like that old saying,
Yeah.
if you're always the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
I love that.
You need to challenge yourself.
Yeah.
Step outside your comfort zone.
Exactly.
Embrace diversity.
I agree. I think the future of these niche dating apps,
Yeah.
it really depends on our ability to find that balance, between celebrating our unique identities
Yeah.
and fostering connections
Right.
that bridge those gaps between us.
It's about recognizing that while our passions might be specific,
right.
our shared humanity
Yes.
is what ultimately connects us all.
Beautifully said. I think that's a great note to end on.
It is. We've covered a lot of ground today in our deep dive into the world of niche dating apps,
A lot of ground.
from the business models to the psychology, the challenges,
The future.
the future possibilities.
It's been quite a journey.
It has been a huge thank you to our expert for being here today and guiding us through this fascinating world.
My pleasure.
And to our listeners, we hope this deep dive has sparked your curiosity,
Yeah.
giving you a deeper understanding of this ever-evolving world of niche dating apps.
Absolutely.
So whether you're a seasoned dater,
Mm.
a curious observer, or maybe even a budding app developer,
Yeah.
we encourage you to go out there, explore those possibilities, and connect authentically.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
That's a wrap on this episode of The Deep Dive.
Thanks for having me.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep connecting, and keep diving deep.